Hi, everyone, and welcome to one of the final sessions of today's conference. So by now, it's pretty clear that the way brands are being discovered is evolving very, very fast. Today, your brand shows up in new places in ways you don't fully control, right? So in this session, Guy Yalif, Chief Evangelist of Webflow, will introduce the AEO maturity model, which is a practical framework designed to help marketing leaders move from traditional SEO to AI-powered brand positioning and conversion. Guy, thank you so much for being with us today, and over to you.
Mariana, thank you so much for having me, and good afternoon. Welcome to AEO for the CMO. You've heard a lot today, a lot that resonates strongly for me, and in this session, I hope to arm you with some additional thinking and a framework to help each of us take back brand narrative control and drive more traffic. I'm excited for this conversation as we're all triangulating on this rapidly evolving space. As Mariana said, my name is Guy Yalif. I'm a former CMO and most recently the co-founder and CEO of Index’25, which is an AI website personalization company that Webflow bought a year and a half ago. I've had the privilege of being a marketing leader, helping fellow marketers use AI to optimize digital experiences for more than 20 years, while at Twitter, Yahoo, Brightroll, TradeWeave, and then Intellimise. For those that don't know, 60 seconds on Webflow. Webflow is an enterprise platform that makes it easy for marketers, designers, and developers to work together to design, manage, and optimize visually stunning enterprise-grade websites that build your brand and drive measurable business results through ABM, testing, and personalization, coding entirely optional. Brands like Sephora, P&G, NCR, Jasper, BBDO, Comscore, Duracell, and more use Webflow today. All right, let's dive in. I'm betting you thought about this throughout the day, but if we asked ChatGPT about your brand, what would it say? Would it use the carefully crafted, differentiated words we've all spent years crafting? Today, prospects letting LLMs write the first chapter of their relationship with our brands means that some of them are confidently saying bland feature descriptions, omitting our differentiation, or just plain wrong. LLMs being the new gatekeepers of our brand and traffic poses both challenge and opportunity for us. And I want to show, what does this actually look like? I'll fly through this because I'm betting we all know. We've spent years trying to get our content to rank in Google search. The goal was keyword ranking and traffic. Now with AEO or GEO, I've heard that used more today, reformulating our words, we want to show up for the questions that are relevant to us, and we want that to be positive. Sentiment becomes a thing. And with that as context, I think there's a perfect storm of three things together for us as marketing leaders. This is a thing because it's genuinely useful. ChatGPT hit 100 million users in 2 months, faster than any other thing in history, because it's helpful. A prominent SEO firm, SEMrush, predicted that while AI search today is less than 2% of total search, it'll surpass traditional search in 3 years. And for anyone questioning whether buyers are using this, Forrester surveyed marketing leaders, 95% of them said, I plan on using Gen AI in my buying process this year. Okay, so we all know we've got to pay attention to it. But this perfect storm begins with the loss of our brand narrative control. We talked about LLMs reformulating our content, missing our differentiated story. Worse, if some of us, actually, I know this applies to no one here, but other people who have outdated content on their site, or a third party has outdated content on their site about you, AI is more likely to deliver an answer that's just wrong and misrepresents your brand. Columbia looked at ChatGPT and others and found they cited the wrong source 40% of the time and didn't cite anything another 20% of the time. Net, there's real narrative risk for our brands. The second piece, traffic is declining some. Not the headline grabbing HubSpot lost 80, 90% last winter, But I'm hearing from CMOs, I have the privilege of talking to hundreds of them every quarter, that it's 5, 10, 15, 20%. Bain said 15 to 25%. That doesn't sound crazy to me at all. There's a silver lining. I heard it in one of the other panels. Traffic from LLMs is further down the funnel. It is more qualified. At Webflow, 8% of our total signups are from AI search, and they convert 6 times better than unbranded organic search. Not 6%, 6 times. And Ahrefs and SEMrush found that 4x to 23x, and also found that LLM visitors visit 50% more pages than search visitors. So there is a silver lining. The last piece of this perfect storm, we all continue to sound the same. How many people here are the leader, the best, the first? Our prospects stop hearing that after a while, and the data supports it. LinkedIn surveyed a bunch of prospects, showing them a bunch of B2B ads. Only 19% correctly attributed to the ad to the company doing the advertising. That's a real challenge for us in trust. Fortunately, as with any new kind of media, those who act early find opportunity and bargains. It's just like the early days of search. It is early days of AEO, and it's growing. For Webflow, we have seen that growing really dramatically. As a percentage of total non-branded search, we've seen AI chatbots go from effectively 0 a year ago to almost 42% now. That is a really rapid growth and meaningful impact, and it's a place we continue to invest more as a brand. Forgot to mention it up front. If you have questions, please chime in. These slides are helpful content. They're not the thing. Having the conversation is the thing, so please chime in. So as we're each wrestling with these, how do you manage your teams? How do you evaluate your teams? How do you guide your teams? I invite you to guide them against 4 areas as you engage in AEO. The first is content, where notionally, we're going from, pardon me, topics that are represented by clusters of keywords that we want present in our content, to topics being represented by the questions our prospects are asking in the funnel. You can go to your Gong recordings or other sales recordings and see what questions are people asking. Those cluster together represent answers. You want to talk about answer those fully and comprehensively, and then you want to make that really relevant by personalizing it. So this category is all about owned content optimization. Second is technical, where we go from on-page SEO to one of the biggest deltas from SEO to AEO is like the increased importance in signaling to the LLM. Here's the structure of my content. Here's the meaning of my content. And arguably the best way to do that is a thing called schema that some little startups, Google, Bing, Yahoo, Yandex, came together a few years ago and defined. Those that have a predefined element in Google search results are probably already using this. And it helps you tell the LLM, oh, here's an events page, here's a bio page, here's a product page, here's a persona page. And that, it's hard to overemphasize how valuable that is. Third bucket, authority. We're all used to investing a ton in backlinks. They still matter. SEO is not gone. They matter, but now in increased importance is widespread positive mentions, repeatedly mentioning your brand and saying something in a positive way in plain text. Each one of those is another repetition for the LLM to remember. And those, you want them pointing to visually stunning, emotionally evocative experiences, because that's a signal of authority too. This category, all about earned brand visibility. And finally, measurement. We go from keyword ranking, which we know well. It doesn't exist when you're getting a paragraph of results. And so most start by measuring, how often did I show up? And evolve to, okay, for this set of questions I care about, how often did I show up relative to my competitors? What's my share of voice? And what was the sentiment there? Was the LLM saying positive things about me? Does this resonate? Feel free to add in the questions. Some say SEO is dead. I could not 180 degrees black and white disagree more. AEO is close to what good SEO always should have been. Genuinely valuable original content gets rewarded. And you can see it in the data. 52% of the sources cited in Google AI overviews rank in the top 10 of results, meaning ranking higher is better, but not a requirement for AEO. That's the high level. If you remembered one thing from today, it's those 4 categories and the evolution within them. We're going to spend most of the rest of our time diving into them. As context for that, I want to share how much work we have to do to help our teams. We recently surveyed 400 marketers, and both marketing leaders and practitioners strongly agree that AEO is going to be important to their company's success over the next 2 years, to the tune of 93%. At the same time, only a quarter of the marketing practitioners said they fully understand what AEO is. At the same time, marketers are restructuring their content strategy or team or workflow to address AEO, somewhere between half and 2/3. So there is a lot we can do to go help our teams. And as you think about guiding them, I invite you to start in the content category. Your content strategy, that evolution determines whether you're capturing existing demand or creating and pulling in new demand. And at level 1, your team's likely focused on keyword-driven pages targeting immediate buyers. You're capturing existing demand. As your team matures, your content strategy shifts from repeating keywords on a page, to answering the real questions your prospects are asking throughout their buying journey. Again, I invite you to go have your team listen to sales call recordings, read sales emails, read support emails to find the questions buyers are really asking and then answer them fully. This widens your reach with content that is going to be genuinely valuable to your prospects. By the way, those LLMs will know this is valuable content in part because they get more from the searcher. As we all learn to speak Google, our average query was 4 words long. As we all interact with LLMs, our current query on average is 23 words long and getting longer. So LLMs have an appetite for us answering in-depth, fully questions that may be even stronger than Google. Now, some might be tempted to say, awesome. The solution for that is to use LLMs to write a bazillion pages and AI generate content. And mercifully, thankfully, we're skipping that stage. LLMs already do not value that content. 80% of the content, when assessed in Google, is either entirely human generated or mostly human generated. So keep humans in the loop. When you think about advanced content strategies, you now shift to picking a set of questions and topics you want to be known for, and now systematically covering the entire subject throughout the funnel and at multiple altitudes, right? Sort of at a high level and then at a real detailed level. You may be writing longer content, not because longer is better, but because you have a better chance of answering a specific question the AI chatbot's looking for. At these later stages, your content is almost certainly part of a broader strategy, and like one-off content here and there, it's more rare. Interestingly, this also adds to the voraciousness of the content machine. So you're answering a bunch of questions at multiple levels. You also need to keep refreshing your content. It turns out LLMs really value fresher content. Pages with some signal, like last updated date, receive 1.8x more citations than those with no recency signal at all. And in fact, 95% of ChatGPT citations point to pages that were updated in the last 10 months. At Webflow, we have experienced this directly. We partner with AirOps, improved our speed of refresh 5x, and saw 42% uplift in total organic traffic for the updated content and a 14% higher conversion rate on that traffic. So feeding the machine helped us a lot. At the highest level of maturity, your content is now a flagship asset. Others are saying, oh, I've been reading your reports, and it's highly personalized. McKinsey found that 71% of consumers expect companies to deliver personalized interactions, and roughly that same number are kind of frustrated when that doesn't happen. Okay, that's content. Now let's move to technical. In the technical category, your website infrastructure, it either becomes a competitive advantage or a liability, either multiplying or decreasing the efficacy of your content efforts. At level 1, you're focused on basic SEO hygiene, ensuring your website's crawlable and mobile friendly. And even at level 1, we collectively have a lot of work to do. 25% of top ranking pages are still missing meta descriptions. As your team progresses, your technical foundation supports systematic content creation at scale with fast, 100% uptime, reliable user experiences. But the biggest shift is giving LLMs context and clues about the structure and meaning of your content. You might do that in the content itself. You might use phrases like in summary, or use bullets or FAQs. You might also use metadata to tell LLMs about the structure and meaning of your content, like we did with Facebook's Open Graph. And this is a look at schema, which we talked about earlier. As I mentioned before, 88% of sites out there have not implemented schema markup, seeding visibility and traffic to more optimized rivals. How do we know this? Because 73% of the first page results in Google use schema. And content with structured data gets 42% more answer engine citations. It has a real impact. At the highest level, technically, your content, your technical infrastructure actively works for you. So you're auto-generating structured data that helps LLMs understand your content. You are bobbing and weaving with evolving standards because they are evolving. You may have an MCP server acting as an API for LLMs to engage with your content. You may today be using LLMs.txt, which isn't yet used by the LLMs, but it may be. It's a proposed standard, and it helps them understand, here's what's important on my site. This technical excellence directly supports your content strategy and your authority strategy, the next one. Authority begins with the same authority we had in SEO, traditional link acquisition. It still matters. Don't stop investing in links. But now you progress to have more positive plain text mentions of your brand elsewhere on the web. How do you do that? Go engage and have your other thought leaders in the company and execs engage in podcasts, speaking, strategic content partnerships, and talk about things that you have, in some sense, the right to talk about. Google came up with this framework years ago called EAT, where it's basically saying, like, hey, if I'm HubSpot, I'm going to talk about CRM. If I'm talking about how to grow your career, that's a little further afield. That will be rewarded less. You can demonstrate EAT as an example by putting bios for your authors, showing, yep, we have the expertise, we have the authority. You might also, differentially from SEO, invest more in Reddit, Quora, YouTube, because the LLMs are valuing them as genuine human content more. And Reddit itself, we could spend a whole hour on, but has a unique set of social norms that are really important to be sensitive to if you go down that path. Happy to talk about it after. Advanced content authority means your brand is consistently cited across industry publications. And when you're cited by LLMs, actually popularity matters, repetition matters. And so one way to do this is a little bit like the LLM equivalent of backlinks. Go ask the questions you want to be a part of the answer to. Go look at the cited sources. Are you listed in those cited sources? If not, engage with them. Look at co-marketing. Engage with partners and agencies, or affiliate or influencers, or comms and PR to try to appear on those sites. And many sites are further down the tail because LLMs are expanding the spread of traffic to, I don't remember off the top of my head, it might be like double or 2.5x the number of domains that search does, which means that many of them are really happy to be engaging with you. You've also, at level 4, started to tell your story your way with visually engaging, emotionally evocative stories that maximize the impact of the traffic you do receive, because 94% of first impressions are design related. At the highest level, your brand defines industry standards. You think about how many of us use like a Salesforce big annual keynote, key pillar report in our internal decision-making and strategies, and you're proactively correcting inaccuracies in other places. Last category, measurement. Okay, you start by measuring traditional keyword rankings. You then look, hey, did I appear in the answers I care about? And then you start doing that systematically. You've picked a basket of questions. You are appearing there regularly. You're also checking for content accuracy and freshness in what's appearing. You're now starting to measure share of voice. And eventually you start measuring real-time sentiment and analytics to help guide your efforts. And it turns out that there are a bunch of firms to help you do that. Here are some. Nothing evaluative or endorsing in this list. This happens to be an Andreessen Horowitz list that overlaps with a bunch of what I've heard as well. Some are the winners in SEO measurements, some Russian Ahrefs. Some are new, like Scrunch and Profound and Graphite that's not on this list. In our survey of 400 folks, marketing leaders measured success in line with this. Number one, they said, hey, am I getting more traffic from AI engines? Number two, is that traffic engaging or converting better than SEO traffic? And number three would be to use one of those tools that we just looked at and see, am I being cited or mentioned more often? My hope is that this look across these 4 categories helps you action and guide your team. If you were going to screenshot 2 things in this entire talk, this would be one of them. So if you've got questions on these, please ask them. But to summarize, in content, you're going from counting keywords to answering questions to great relevance through personalization. Technically, you're going from on-page SEO to automated site structure that makes it easy for LLMs to understand and consume your content, and doing so on super fast sites globally. In authority, you're going from backlinks, which still matter, to widespread positive mentions about your brand that points to visually stunning, engaging experiences. And finally, in measurement, you go from keyword ranking, dimensions, to share of voice and sentiment. There is a lot of opportunity here. It's still quite early. When I searched far and wide for real-world examples of this working, I had a really tough time finding any. Why? I think a lot of companies are just getting started, and many aren't just talking about it yet in public. I invite you, as you manage your team against those 4 categories, to follow a rubric we came up with, where we made up 5 different levels for each of those 4 categories, where overall you're maturing from keywords to answering questions, to adding structure to your site, to being an acknowledged authority and pillar, and then finally continuously adapting to AEO changes. And if you put that all together, you get the second screenshot I humbly suggest you take today, which is guidelines in each of those 4 categories: content, technical, authority, and measurement, laid out by level. This is the key actionable framework from today, sharing on one screen the summary of steps to AEO maturity. And if anyone tells you, oh, you do this, it'll work perfectly, they're lying. This is a very well-researched, very thoughtful, data-driven guess. because no one actually knows. These have been shown in a data-driven way to work well today, and we'll keep updating them over time. If you would like to know how your brand stacks up, I invite you to go here. Just scan this QR code. We wrote a 1,000+ line prompt that will go look at your site, go look off your site, nothing to do with Webflow. And we'll, in a few minutes, email you a summary of what we see in each of these 4 categories. What do we see? What seems like the next step? And what are the gaps to go achieve the next level of maturity? This is what that page looks like. 1 minute, 60 seconds. Webflow, should you choose to, can help you on all of these. We're a couple $100 million plus revenue enterprise platform with 300,000 customers, 1,200 agency partners. We host millions of sites, our customers publish 15,000 of them every hour, and we serve 8 terabytes of assets an hour. We can help you with content, generate on-brand, on-voice content, personalized down to the individual, and localized natively. We've been able to do these for a long time. Technically, we auto-generate clean semantic code. We auto-generate schema for your site. I don't know anybody else doing that. We support LLMs.txt. We auto-generate sitemaps.xml, and we serve your site from 330 plus places around the world. For authority, our bread and butter has been helping you create on-brand, visually stunning experiences for years. And in measurement, we offer content and experiment analytics to help you guide your investments. That's not the point of today, just 60 seconds to share. This is what auto-generating schema looks like. We'll auto-generate accessibility info that LLMs use and auto-generate SEO metadata. So I hope this framework is actionable for you. I hope it helps you guide your teams better as you get back to the office. And I'm grateful that you would take the time in the middle of a day with a lot of incredible content. And with that, I will pause because we have a couple minutes for questions if there are some, and I'm happy to follow up on LinkedIn. Looking at questions, I do have one. It's, do my SEO efforts matter? And my answer would be absolutely they do. They continue to matter a lot. AEO is like an and, not an or. You're not abandoning your SEO efforts, you are adding some. It's like a Venn diagram where there's a heavy overlap between the two, between good SEO and good AEO. And while some of the tactics will change because the LLMs are evolving so rapidly, the core of having genuinely valuable original content that helps your prospects, that's evergreen. That's never going away. Mariana, if you are game, please join me back because that's the last question I see. I hope this was genuinely helpful for you. And if you want to continue the conversation, please follow up on LinkedIn.
Great, guys. Thank you so much for sharing this actionable insights and a clear roadmap for CMOs navigating the AI-driven landscape. I'm sure everyone here learned something new today from you, so thank you. And now,
thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. And now we're moving towards our last session, 10 things you didn't know about GEO with Kishan Pampalia from Pepper's founding team. So as we move towards the end of the conference, this is your last chance to get your personalized GEO audit. So before joining the next session and final session, please make sure to go to the GEO clinic and meet our team there. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you at the last session. Thank you, Guy.
Thanks.
Bye.